Good afternoon, class. So today is 12th of June and we will have to cover the current affairs of today. So the first news is related to Bru refuse rehabilitation in Tripura hits Green Panel hurdle. Now please remember, I hope you remember, Bru people are those people who have migrated from Mizoram in the ethnic cleansing and the atrocities that has been committed against them, and they have fled to Tripura. Now in the backdrop of this, the Tripuran government basically have provided a type of a package or a extended permission to actually stay in Tripura. After that, the central government have intervened. They have given them two options: either rehabilitate in Tripura itself, or they can go back to the Mizoram. So majority of the Bru rehabilitators have basically opted for the adoption in the state of Tripura itself. And in that particular background, they have been asked or they have been provided basically the way and the things: a land, a money, account, a free ration, and a type of a job that will be provided to them. So with regard to that, there have been the land that has been allocated to them. So there have been a case that has been filed in which a NOC has been asked from the Forest Department, and in which there is a case that has been filed against the violation of the Forest Right Act 1986, that the colonies that are generally built to basically rehabilitate these particular Bru people are currently the violation of the Forest Right Act, and therefore they are currently problematic. So that is another hurdle that have come in. Otherwise, I think probably sooner or later it will be solved. So you need not to go into detail. The next one is the Iran presidential election is clear. So what is the signal that we are talking about Talmiz Ahmad? So I hope you remember. First of all, let us understand what is the structure of election in Iran and how they are currently functioning. There are two things parallel that are running in Iran. One is the president, and who is currently the directly elected president. So the people of Iran directly elect the president, and then there is a government that is elected by the president, which is responsible to the assembly. So they will have to answer all the questions and the things or the acts that they have been committing with regard to the welfare and the other measures that they are taking. Now, when we talk about the Guardian Council, that is a 12-member Guardian Council, which is appointed, or it is working under the Supreme Leader. So Supreme Leader is the religious leader. What is the Supreme Leader? Supreme Leader have influence basically above all the affairs of the state for maintaining the ideology and the safeguards and the principles of the Islamic revolution. Under them, we have a 12-member Guardian House, which basically elects certain people who could be mandatorily satisfactory for considered to be position of the president or for fighting the president. That is another case. Now, when we talk about 12-member Guardian Council, they have rejected most of the reformist persons. So the moderate philosophy or the ideology has been rejected, and it has been focusing upon the hardliners and the centrist ideology. Now, the most prominent person has been among them was the Ibrahim Raisi. He is a hardliner. He is basically was earlier head of the judiciary and the deputy chief of the assembly experts, who basically elect the supreme leader. So there is a procedure to elect the supreme leader, but once you become the supreme leader, you are heading over the president and heading over the Guardian Council. So this Guardian Council is a separate branch and president is a separate branch. So executive and the Guardian Council, these are separated branches. So one is for maintaining moral and another one is for maintaining administration. So that has been the case. Now, he was the one person who have stood against Rouhani, and his image of pro-poor and upliftment of the downtrodden has been the major philosophy that he has been working upon. The list that was prepared has evoked criticism from different parts. Rouhani said that there is a minimal participation in the elections because the list that has been finalized has not been accepted by a lot of the people. So there will be a lot of the persons who will not be voting or not casting their vote. The supreme leader himself have recognized, that is Khamenei over there, have himself recognized that some candidates were basically wrong, but still it is going to be a fair and suitable justice, and also for the benefit of the country as a whole. There is a change of the ideology that is needed to be seen from the type of the candidates that has been pushed by the Guardian Council with regard to the hardline, and it has been the objective of Mr. Khamenei basically that the moderates were not responsible, but hardline leaders were responsible to participation or the stand that they would be basically taking against the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action Negotiations Committee that we will be dealing. So it is impedient with respect to the credibility and the fair elections that we have to basically contribute to that. Now, when we talk about the role and the balance with regard to the economic disappear and the domestic and the reasoning outlook, the educated middle class in 2019 basically have voted for Mr. Rouhani. So 60% of the middle class at that particular time have voted for Mr. Rouhani. That was the total strength of the middle class over there. Now they have grown exponentially in 2013 when they got to vote in 2014. So basically they gave the fruit of the prospect with regard to the development they have seen, and the good sound economic principle have certainly ensured the election of Mr. Rouhani to the presidentship. Other than that, when we talk about the reinstatement of the sanctions that happened in 2017, since then the economy have in shambles. There is a increase in inflation, there is fall in the per capita income, there is poor economy, and the pandemic have even made the conditions worst. So the reformists are basically being credited for the failure, and the hardliners were basically looked at an alternative that they can take the country out against the hard stance that China have basically occupied, and therefore they will be competing with it. Now, other than that, when we talk about the inflation, it is from increasing from 10% to 50%, and there is a depreciation in the national currency by 4 times. The unemployment rate have increased to 12%, and other than that, they have high challenges with regard to the sanctions or the failure that they generally blame the moderates with regard to not putting a hard opinion and hard, you can say, objection to the sanctions that were, or negotiations to the sanctions that were basically committed by USA. So the political affairs, Saudi Arabia and Yemen, they have been cooperating, which is an advantage to the hardliners. There have been Iran and Israel, in which USA is normalizing, but still there is a looming threat that the deal may fall any time apart if there is a hardliner government that will come on to the forefront in the Iranian region. So these are the other things that are currently debated there. The next one is Park passes bill to let Jadhav appeal. So consular access for the 51-year-old Navy officer has been provided. There is a decision that has been given in July 2019 in Hague, which is to must reconsider and effectively renew with regard to the things that are needed to be done. And now the consular access has been allocated for the improvement with regard to the delay and the other things that are needed to be prevented. So I hope this is clear. The next one is the US FDA move won't affect India. So basically they have restricted the use of the Covaxin in their own nation. And in that, the Indian government have said that if they have rejected, it does not have any bearing on the things that are happening in India. India will go ahead with the administration of the Covaxin because every country have different standards. According to their standards and the efficacy, maybe the vaccine was not qualified, but it will continue in India as a type of administered vaccines as it was going earlier. So I hope this is clear. The next one is the G7 to pledge 1 billion shots for the world. So already I have talked about this to you yesterday. Now Joe Biden have promised 500 million doses already. They have been asking a project called as Build Back Better. So alternatives issues are also being discussed with regard to the 15% global minimum tax, the tax havens that are currently going, the BEPS, base erosion, profit shifting. Other than that, there have been issues with regard to the raising of the finances for the environment containment and the decade of restoration, and positive alternative of the like-minded countries is also needed to be raised so that a counter to China could also be provided. So that has been the case here. The next one is the Myanmar violence escalating, creating right catastrophe. So this is with regard to the United Nations. This person, Michelle Bachelet, have said that from fragile democracy to human catastrophe, Myanmar have traveled really fast, and this traveling have basically had to do with the imposition of or the toppling of the government or the coup that was conducted in Myanmar by the Junta government over there. So that has been the case. The next one is China-Sri Lanka Friendship Hospital open. Now, this is a Chinese grant of 60 million that has been provided at Polanwara, and this is at Sri Lanka North Central Province, and it is the largest hospital in Asia for nephrology, that is the kidney stones, 200 bedded. Earlier also, China have also making inroad and developing good relations with the Sri Lankan authorities when they provided 2 billion in swab facility to Sri Lanka and 90 million as a grant that has been requested by the Sri Lankan authorities. So it has been assumed that in the time of the pandemic, Sri Lanka and China could have or would be becoming more closer to one another. apart from the ties that Sri Lanka basically had with India. So that has been the another case we are looking out for. Okay, so IAP edged up 0.08%, so IAP छोड़ दीजिए. It have basically 0.8% in April from same month in 2019. So that is just a same level in 2019, which was in April from the same month in 2019. So the output have contracted from the March level in the month of April because there were a lot of lockdowns that have been imposed. So the manufacturing activity that constitute about 78% of the total activity with regard to the index of industrial production have remained out. So that has been the case here. Okay, so I think that is it for today.